You'll never know when nature will turn against you, but you can learn how to survive it. In this video, you will be tested to see if you know how to survive a bite from a venomous snake. Survival Station 1 has just begun.
Hiking solo in the deserts of Southern California, you easily lose cell reception venturing off into the mountains. It's easy to find yourself alone out there, with no one around for miles. At this point in the hike, you feel you ventured far enough, and it's time to turn around and head back to the car. You're aware of the dangers of hiking at this time of day. Sunset is when the wildlife gets active, and it was a scorcher around noon. Having no gear to camp overnight, you're anxious to get back to the car, and that is when it hits. A quick sharp pain is felt from your ankle. You instantly fall over, reach down, and see some blood. You've just been bitten by a snake. You quickly glance around to see the culprit, only to catch a glimpse of a slithering tail with a small rattle going off into the brush. Time to assess. What do you do next at Survival Station 1? Do you run for it? Your car is easily 5 miles away, and it would take at least an hour to run back. If you run for it, you just might reach your car before your body gives out to the venom. Or stay down and keep your heart rate as low as possible. You're not exactly sure if it was a venomous snake bite, but you're bleeding and you have to assume the worst. Perhaps you should stay put, keep your heart rate under control, and come up with a plan. If you didn't choose stay down and assess and come up with a plan, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably a goner, and you unfortunately failed this first station of this survival challenge.
Come on.
So keep watching, because you need to learn. Running increases your heart rate and will accelerate the venom spreading throughout your body. This could mean a faster death.
Help! Somebody help me!
Now, you might have reached your car as fast as possible, but you wouldn't have lived long enough for any emergency responders to save you.
Looks like he's already a goner.
If you chose stay down and make a plan, option B, you are correct. However, you're not out of the woods yet. If you choose poorly from here, you could still end up dying a slow and agonizing death. That is, if you can't stop the venom. Survival Station 2 has just begun. You're sitting on the desert ground, going through your backpack for possible supplies to stop the venom from spreading. It's way easier said than done to remain calm in this situation, but you must focus. Your next move will help you survive. It's time to ask the very important question, what snake just bit you? Now, since you saw the rattle, you know you got bit by a rattlesnake, but there are multiple species in the Southwest. There's the Mojave, the Western Diamondback, the black-tailed, and the rock rattlesnake. Each species has a very different venom composition and toxicity level, which directly affects how dangerous they are to humans. The Mojave rattlesnake is the most toxic of the bunch, with neurotoxic properties in its venom that can interfere with the transmission of nerve impulses in your body. But for this survival station, unfortunately, you've been bitten by the Western Diamondback rattlesnake. These snakes are most frequently encountered in the Southwest and can deliver large quantities of hemotoxic venom that can destroy your tissue and blood cells, resulting in permanent injuries, which can include necrosis, limb amputation, and potentially death.
Man.
So let's try to stop that venom from harming you any further. Here are your options. Suck the venom out. It was merely only moments ago that you got bit, so the venom hasn't spread too far into your body. So you've heard the rumors and probably even seen it done in movies before. What if you suck the venom and the blood out of your own wound, and then just simply spit the contaminated blood onto the ground? Time to go full vampire medic mode. Or you could wrap the wound tightly and elevate it. Maybe there's a position you could put your bitten leg in that reduces the spread of venom throughout your body. You decide to lift the wound above your heart because the less amount of blood flowing to the wound means the less blood pushing the venom through your bloodstream. Or option 3, what about making a secondary wound to drain the venom from your body? The thought of sucking blood is just too much, and you can't just sit there. So what if you created a second wound between the initial bite and your torso? It's going to be gross making that slice, but you have a pocket knife and your adrenaline is pumping. A small slice to save your life? All right, in order to survive this station, which option should you choose? And you know what? Let's spice it up a little bit and go ahead and throw in an option D, which is none of the above.
Oh, my foot.
Which I do hope you took that final option, because the 3 initial options all would kill you faster. That's right, all of them were wrong. Now let's see why. Sucking on the wound won't remove much venom, and it might introduce bacteria, increasing the risk of infection to your bite. On top of that, if you have cuts or sores in your mouth, you just put venom into your bloodstream, inside your head.
Seriously?
Putting you at a greater risk of death. Now, because you're bleeding, you do want to clean up that wound and have a light bandage covering it, never tight like a tourniquet, and keep your leg down. Raising the limb above your heart can increase the speed of the venom through the bloodstream, jeopardizing your vital organs. Finally, making a secondary wound to let the blood drain does not stop the venom from spreading. Within minutes, the venom is already deeply in your tissues and even your lymphatic system, not just your blood. So keep the pocket knife handy only for cutting apple slices. Now that your wound is dressed, your next move will determine if you survive the night. Survival Station 3 has just begun. Now you're sitting under a fading sun in the desert, still without cell service, and you're wounded. Your leg is still radiating pain from that initial bite, and you're left with 2 options. You could create a distress signal and wait it out through the night. You have some supplies to start a fire, but you're also not sure if you should sleep, given the venom is still radiating through your system. Or do you venture out to try to find cell service and call for help? You estimated that running back to your car would take about an hour, so maybe if you walk back, it would take double that time. You could pick up cell service along the way, and you really don't want to get your heart rate up, for that surely would spread the venom further and faster throughout your body. So what do? Signal and stay, or do you navigate and pray? This was a real-life situation a few years ago for a 50-year-old hiker who was alone in the deserts of Phoenix, Arizona. He was bitten by a western diamondback rattlesnake, miles from any main road, and the decisions he made in that life-threatening situation saved his life. According to our research, and based on this real-life survival story, the correct option would be option B, to slowly start heading back to your car, searching for that cell service to call for help. Here's how he survived. The bitten hiker chose to slowly walk with a stick as a crutch back toward his car. After about 20 minutes, his cell got a couple of bars and he froze in that position to call 911. Once on the line, he reported the snakebite accident and that he was increasingly feeling dizzy and lightheaded. First responders were sent out immediately to the desert trail where they found the hiker. After arriving to the hospital, he was administered with the correct rattlesnake antivenom, and he survived. So his decision to go for it and call for help by finding that cell service saved his life. Now back to your predicament. You decided to go for it, knowing that it would take hours to reach your car by walking. Your best hope was to reach cell service along the way back, so help could be sent to meet you along the trail. Through most of Southern California, you can even text the number 911 for emergency help. Keep it short and reveal your location the best you can. Luckily for you, 911 dispatch received one of your texts and sent first responders that found you on the trail. Once they transported you to the nearest hospital, doctors moved quickly to give you the correct antivenom. You don't always need antivenom to survive a rattlesnake bite, but by getting it, it greatly reduces the severity of the damage caused by the venom and possibly avoiding serious complications like needing necrotic amputation.
Well, it could have been a lot worse.
Uh-oh! It's time for the worst case scenario. What is the worst snake in the world to be bitten by, and where would you find it? Well, unfortunately, a man in Australia found out. A bushwalker in northern Australia was bitten on the thigh by an inland taipan, which happens to be the most venomous snake on the planet. The inland taipan's venom is estimated to be 50 times more toxic than a rattlesnake and 10 times more toxic than a cobra. Just one bite contains enough venom to kill over 100 healthy human adults. This poor Australian was alone and deep in the outback, with no way to call for help and no hospital nearby. The venom reached his bloodstream in just under 15 minutes, and that's when the paralysis began. His breathing slowed, and within 30 minutes, he succumbed to respiratory failure.
Yep, this is the worst.
He was a goner in less than 30 minutes. So to conclude this episode of Survival Station, Hopefully you learned something on how to best survive the bite of a rattlesnake from navigating these situations. But maybe there's more survival options that we didn't cover and that you'd recommend. If so, drop it in the comments, and I'll see you next time on the next survival station.